First of all, new glasses. What are your guys' thoughts? Second of all, it's spooky season, which means today I'm going to give you 10 underrated horror movie recommendations. Now, to be considered underrated, they have to have a 3.5 or below on the app Letterboxd. Go follow me on Letterboxd at ZachDFilmsYT. And with that said, it'd do me a huge favor if you'd subscribe, like button, hit the bell so you never miss another video. There's going to be a couple more horror videos in the month of October. I wish I wasn't doing it in the TikTok green screen effect, but got to get out to you guys somehow. And with that said, let's dive right in. 13 Ghosts. It's a movie about a guy and his family going into this haunted house. They don't know it's haunted, and they get lost, and they have to try to find each other. It is a bad movie. Yes, absolutely. It is very entertaining, however. It's only 90 minutes. It's got that cheap horror thrills aspect. There are 13 ghosts in here, and a lot of them have neat ideas. The CGI isn't all that great, but I think the one thing that really makes this movie stand out for me is Matthew Lillard and his performance in this movie, and how fun and funny he is. Really just makes this one a campy and fun horror movie. Watched it with my mother a couple months back, and we all had a great time. One of Sam Raimi's most underrated movies, Drag Me to Hell. Now, this was a movie that I haven't heard a whole much about, because when you think of Sam Raimi, you think of the Evil Dead franchise, and you think of the Spider-Man trilogy, but nobody really talks about Drag Me to Hell. Drag Me to Hell, I thought, was really fun. It does a bunch of nasty stuff with someone's mouth. The lead performance by this actress right here is really good, and there are sequences that can have you on the edge of your seat. Nothing that's really scary, because it is a PG-13 horror movie, but stuff that has you on the edge of your seat. I did think the ending was a bit predictable, but it's still an ending that makes sense as a whole. Drag Me to Hell is a solid 3.5-star movie, and I think you'll have fun if you check it out. My personal favorite zombie movie, one that is just very underrated in my opinion, is World War Z. Follows Brad Pitt as he tries to discover a cure for the zombies. Now, the book I was not a huge fan of, but this movie is one of the coolest zombie movies for me. There are some really cool zombie set pieces, some edge-of-your-seat stuff. I love zombie movies. I love scenes where you're getting chased by zombies, and this one has a whole bunch of that. While on a story level, not as complex as you might think, World War Z is a zombie movie that is just so fun, and I think that you'll really enjoy it. Kind of a beginner horror movie is Lights Out. This was one of the horror movies that got me into horror movies. The beginning is kind of intense, but throughout the entire movie, it's just a fine, kind of generic horror movie, but it's still entertaining. And the cast and characters in this movie, they are incredibly likable. You love the family. There's a sequence where you think the boyfriend's going to run away, and instead he just stays. Very likable, where you think that he's not going to be. And the demon in here is kind of cool. It is directed by David F. Sandberg, who did the Shazam movies, did a couple other horror movies, Annabelle Creation, and this year's Dawn something or other, based off a video game that I haven't seen. But this one, not great, but again, it's still a fun enough time. Crawl, a creature feature about being stuck in a crawl space while alligators are after you. If that sounds awesome to you, yeah, you're going to think the movie's awesome. It sounded awesome to me. I watched the movie. I thought it was awesome. It had a bunch of creature carnage, had a bunch of claustrophobic sequences. This is one that I just watched, and I absolutely loved it. Is it campy? Absolutely. But it's a movie about being stuck in a crawl space with a bunch of alligators. What do you expect? This is my creature feature recommendation for you this Halloween. Totally Killer on Amazon Prime. It's about our lead actress as she is hunted down by a serial killer, but the twist is she goes back in time, teams up with her mother, her and a group of other victims are also being hunted by the serial killer. It is a lot of fun, does a lot of things that you'd expect with the time travel stuff in here. Love the characters. It is very funny, very good sequences with her and her mom, some very emotional sequences in here. But at the end of the day, it is a slasher whodunit movie. I enjoy slasher whodunit movies, and this one has a cool twist. I really loved Totally Killer, and I highly recommend it. A very underrated one from last year, Immaculate. It's under 90 minutes long. It's typical nun movie story, which I'm not the biggest fan of those, but I liked it because I like the lead actress in here. The story did enough to keep me invested, and where the movie goes in the end is either going to make it or break it for you. If you like messed up endings, you're going to love this. The final scene, the final shot of the movie, rather, is completely haunting. But If you're not into that, you're not going to like this one. This is my recommendation for the messed up kind of people. Another one from last year, one that I'm thinking about rewatching very soon, Smile 2. Now, as you notice, there's not a lot of franchise films on this list. Well, this is the one I have to include. Number one, because you don't really need to see Smile 1 to enjoy this one, but also number two, because this one is just absolutely awesome, and I cannot go any farther without saying that it's just awesome. Love the performance by Naomi Scott. It's a film that completely subverts your expectations numerous times. It is terrifying, the ending is scary, and it is just overall an awesome and creepy horror movie experience. One of my favorite movies of last year, and one of my favorite horror movies of the decade. And then we got a couple from this year. Companion, a top 3 movie of the year for me. This is one with just an absolute brilliant script, a twist about 20 minutes into the movie that completely subverts your expectations. And after that twist, it just turns into a really fun and entertaining chase movie with just a genius script that I'm still gushing about to this day. And to round things out, The Woman in the Yard. This is a movie that you might look at it and say it looks like a typical Blumhouse horror movie. But for me, I honestly felt that it was more than that. There are themes about suicide and depression in here that I thought really resonated well in the movie. Scenes that genuinely made me tear up in the ending of the movie. And it has room for thought. Apparently, they might have uploaded 2 different endings to the movie in theaters, and it just allowed for us as fans of horror to discuss the movie. It's not perfect. It does have a lot of the typical Blumhouse stuff, but the overall story in this one I thought was great. So there were 10 horror movie recommendations. Tell me which ones you've seen, and if you're taking my recommendations, it would do me a great favor if you go back in the comment section and you tell me what ones were your favorite. All right, thanks for watching this video.